California Congressman Pete Aguilar told reporters, quote, "It's in our best interest to make sure that we are representing the will of the caucus and the American public, and the Republicans don't have an opportunity behind closed doors to shape and to add to these conspiracy theories." Ohio Republican and member of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Brad Wenstrup joins me. Good evening, sir. Nice to have you. And I suspect that the Democrats have sort of learned a little bit from January 6th, and the Republicans have learned from January 6th, is that you might want to be on the panel rather than just sit and watch. Is that you think there's the Democrat strategy?
Well, I'm not exactly sure what their strategy is, but I can tell you that our strategy moving forward is when we go into these investigations, we want it to be bipartisan. And I can tell you that I sit on Intelligence Committee, and we've been talking about that as we work going forward. And I've talked to my fellow Democrats, some that I know that are willing to work in a bipartisan fashion about some of the things we have coming up that are threats to our country. You know, it's a situation right now where you see national security risk potentially with what we saw with Joe Biden, and now he had classified information. You know, Mike Turner, who will be the chairman of HPSC, has sent a letter saying we'd like a brief, just as we did after the Mar-a-Lago raid, where we didn't criticize the maneuver. We just said we would like a brief on the national security risk. Now, Mar-a-Lago was a massive event. The Biden event was not. Mar-a-Lago occurred right before the election. Apparently, Biden's classified information was found November 2nd, and that wasn't made public until this week.
Tell me this. I take it you're on the House Intelligence Committee. I take it you don't have any classified documents in your office, and that when you read classified documents, you go into something called a SCIF. Is that right?
That's correct. And you bring up a really good point that I'd like to share with you and your audience, for that matter. I question what is the role of the National Archives. Shouldn't they be screening what you take out of your office before you actually leave your office? Or when were these items actually taken out? Because when we're in that SCIF, before we leave, our staff makes sure that every document that we had out, they were numbered, and they made sure that every number was collected. So you're right, you're spot on with that. And so that gives us grave concern where these snuck out. That's happened in the past, as we know.
Well, so tell me what the SCIF is like. I mean, tell me a little bit, but the viewers probably don't know. I mean, is it a special room? I mean, tell me how secure it is.
It's very secure. You know, you have to go through with a special ID and a passcode to be even able to open the door. There's a security guard outside of there that knows who you are and who's allowed in there and when. And when we go into this facility, it can detect if you have a phone or any type of electronic transmission. It's very secure. Nothing can be heard between the walls, and nothing should be able to get out. And so when we're in there, it can look just like any other hearing room, except for the fact that there's a warning ahead of time that if you have anything electronic, get it out of there. And also, there's been times I've been in there where somebody did, and it was detected, and we got it out. But it's supposed to be very secure. You know, if something gets out of there, it's not because somebody heard it through the walls. It's because something was leaked.
Can you sign out a document? I mean, like, you know, what's the how much are the documents, you know, protected in there, or can you sign one out for a period of time, like a library almost, to another secure location?
Oh, no, only within that location. There's a special process if you're taking something from one location to another. And I'll give you an example of that. When the Russian collusion narrative was being pitched, you know, we went over to the Department of Justice to go through the documents that they had. They did not come over to us. And that's another story, because the way they were presented to us was very unprofessional. But we still were able to get through with them and discover what we needed to discover.
All right, you've asked for a briefing from President Biden, and I hope you get that on the documents. When you asked for a briefing as to what documents are Mar-a-Lago, have you gotten that to your satisfaction?
No, not at all. We've gotten nothing. And you know how long ago that was. And we immediately sent a letter as House Republicans at the time. Now it's coming from the chairman. So we would expect that to be a bipartisan brief on what Joe Biden had. And same with Donald Trump. You know, our immediate reaction was, if you went to this extent to do this raid, Tell us what the national security risk was that allowed it to be that massive, that much of an event, compared to what has happened with Joe Biden's classified documents. It's just more discreet, and oh, here you go. Maybe they were worried that someone was finally tracking them. But then I go back to the archives, just as our staff will make sure we don't walk out with something we shouldn't have. Well, what did the archives do? Come back 5 years later?
I want to have you listen to the White House response, because today at the White House, the press briefing, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre answered a question from CBS News correspondent Ed O'Keefe. He asked her why President Biden just did not tell the American people about the classified documents found in his post-vice president private office until roughly 2 months after they were discovered, which of course is an issue. Here's that exchange.
There was nothing stopping the President of the United States from disclosing the discovery of these classified documents in his former office before it was under Justice Department review.
What I can tell you right now is what the president share with you what the president said to all of you, right? Which is he was surprised by this. He definitely, truly respects the process here. And also when it comes to classified, he takes classified documents very seriously. And again, I'm going to leave you to the information that the president provided to all of you, and also just yesterday, in front of many of you or your colleagues, and also what my White House counsel colleagues shared on Monday.
Now, Congressman, you're going to probably get something as a member of the House Intel Committee, but is that the American people? Do we deserve more from the White House on this? I realize that you have a little different consideration in House Intel, but what about the rest of us?
I think America needs to know more. Look, if he has a great respect for classified documents, how did they get out? And documents are marked classified. It's not like you have to look at page 10 to see if something is classified or an index in the back. It says very much in the front, classified, top secret, for your information, only those types of things. There's various categories. And so that's why we're always very careful, especially on our committee, and he should be to his Vice President of the United States, to make sure I'm not taking anything out of here that I shouldn't have. I mean, I will tell you in a bipartisan fashion, I would hope, and I think we do, make sure that we're not taking things out that we shouldn't take out. And so he obviously didn't go to that extreme when he left. Now, keep in mind, President Trump can declassify anything he wants. So, and that's been some of the argument that his team has made, is that a lot of these documents that he declassified. That's then is a whole different situation and is yet to be clarified. But obviously he's not being careful. He doesn't have respect for classified documents, or they would not have made their way out of there. So that's very disingenuous in my opinion, and I think that they should just come clean.
And Congressman, just one other thought is that, I want more information on President Trump on it, but the distinction I draw is that President Biden currently is on our payroll, and that's, I think we can make the demand as taxpayers. But I want more information on both of them on that. But Congressman Brad Wenstrup, thank you for joining me, sir. I hope you come back.
Oh, thank you. Glad to, Greta. Thanks.